Lesson 9.1, Probability of Simple Events. Probability is the chance that some event will occur. A simple event is one outcome or a collection of outcomes. What is an outcome? An outcome is a possible result in a probability experiment. Okay, so probability. The probability of an event is a ratio that compares the number of favorable outcomes to the number of possible outcomes. So the probability of our event happening, the number of favorable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. Okay, outcomes occur at random if an outcome is equally likely to occur. So if we look at example A, a coin is tossed. Find the probability of a coin landing on heads and write your answer as a fraction, a percent, and a decimal. So when we're thinking about probability, first we need to ask ourselves, well, how many possibilities do we have? When we flip a coin, we have heads or tails. So we have two possibilities, so that's our numerator. And then, how many chances do I have of landing on heads? Well, there's only one heads on a coin. So we would say our probability of landing on heads is 1/2. Then as a percent, 1/2 is 50%. And as a decimal, it would be 0.5. Okay, if we look at example B, the spinner at the right is spun once. Find the probability of each event. Write your answer as a fraction, a percent, and a decimal. So if we look at example B, this is a probability of F. Okay, so again, before I start, I need to figure out how many possible outcomes do I have. So we have 10. Okay, I have 10 possible outcomes. Now, I want to know what's the probability of landing on an F. So I have to look at my spinner here, and how many Fs do I have? Well, I have 1. So my probability is 1/10. Again, we need to write that as a percent, so that's 10%, and then as a decimal, so 0.1. Okay, if we look at letter C, what is the probability of D or G? Okay, so again, I always start with how many possibilities do I have? Well, I have 10 options here. Now, how many Ds or Gs do I have? I have 1 D, I have 1 G, so I have 2. Okay, we always simplify our fractions, so 2/10 is 1/5. So we have a 1/5 chance, which is 20%, which is 0.2. Okay, and then letter D, the probability of a vowel. So again, I start with how many possibilities do I have? I have 10 possibilities. So now how many vowels do I have? So remember, vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. So I have an A, an E, and an I. So I've got 3. So I have 3 possibilities out of my 10. Okay? And 3/10 is 30%, which is 0.3. Okay? So again, when you're finding probability, it's what are my chances of getting it over how many possible? So how many options do I have over how many possible outcomes do I have? The next thing is we're going to find probability of a complement. So complement events are 2 events in which either one or the other must happen, but cannot happen at the same time. For example, a coin can either land on heads or not land on heads. So the sum of the probability of the events and its complement is 1 or 100%. Okay? So you're either going to land on it or you're not going to land on it. All right? So if we look at example E, a bay contains 5 blue, 8 red, and 7 green marbles. A marble is selected at random. Find the probability the marble is not red. Okay? So again, I always start off with how many possibilities do I have? I have 5 blue, 8 red, and 7 green. So 5 plus 8 plus 7 is 20. Okay? And then I'm finding a probability that the marble is not red. So I want everything that is not red. So I could have a blue marble, or I could pull out a green marble, because those are not reds. All right? So then I'm going to add those 2 together. So I have 5 blue, 7 green, so that gives me 12 possibilities. Okay? Again, we always simplify our fractions. So we could take a 4 out, which simplifies down to 3/5. So we would say our probability of pulling not a red is 3 out of 5.